Hi, g'day people. This is the fourth in a series of videos around north of Warwick Station, where main roads have got the principal shared path closed for a while, whilst a couple of projects are underway. And what we're focusing on here is the detours that have been set up for cyclists around these work sites. And apparently they've been, the detour signage has been quite poor for some time. And this photo was taken this week, and it shows the state of the signage. Now, what we would like to see is something like this. This is signage that was taken during the Borloo, or was used during the Borloo Bridge project, or at Burswood when an additional principal shared path was being built down near the casino. You can see it's very good. It's large, it's bright, the arrows are very, very clear. They've got pedestrian and cyclist symbology on them. This signage was great. There was lots of it. It was laid on thick. So those projects, I think, really set a very good standard for how detour signage should be laid out. And main roads should have learnt a lot of lessons about how to do the detour signage from those projects, particularly the Borloo Bridge project. Anyway, if I'm not a traffic manager, I'm not a traffic engineer. All I've done is read some Austroads Guides and ridden through an awful lot of detours in the past. Now, if I was setting up the signage for these detours up at Warwick, my signage plan would look something like this. The first thing I would have done is stitch the two maps together, but here we are looking at it going south to north only. And at every single place where you have to turn, every intersection, I would have had a left turn or right turn sign. Where you have to go straight ahead, and there is in fact one spot where you have to, I would have had a straight ahead sign set up. And where there are, in fact, I've missed one here. There should be one just there. There should be one of these. Let me just stick that in because that's missing. So that's 19 signs now. Now, where there's a bend in the road and you can't see the sign up on this intersection from down here, I would put in intermediate signage saying, yep, keep on going straight ahead. Similarly, up here, any of these long stretches, I would have done that. The other thing is some of these corners I would have put up more than one sign because it's not a path, these are roads, and so you may need to in fact put up signage like say at this intersection you might have put it there, and you might have also put some on this side of the road as well on the left hand side, making it very, very clear, essentially doubling up. So you might go from, I don't know, 19 signs to let's say 30 to make it abundantly clear where to go on this detour. What do we actually get? Well, one of the videos I've put up, I actually cycled south to north and then north to south. And it's about a 30-minute video. You can go and watch it yourself, and it shows all the signage that's in place. So on this map, I have marked down all the signage as you go south to north. You're probably looking at it going, where is it? Well, I couldn't see any. So it's completely blank. I don't know what main roads tended for this particular project. Maybe they tended for zero signage going in this direction, and we're getting what they paid for. Now, going north to south, I've flipped the map upside down, which is just map reading 101, and I mean, this is how maps should be put up around the sites. Oh, that's one thing to note. None of these maps have been printed off on core flutes and put up anywhere around these work sites. There's plenty of fencing where you could put up a core flute, just zip tie it to the fence. And obviously you want to print two types of map, a north-south map and a south-north map. So when you're looking at it, you don't have to flip the map 180 degrees in your mind to work out where I should be turning left and right. Now I've taken stills from the video showing all the signs, and this is it. So 5 of the intersections have a single sign each. This sign and this sign at least are on the left-hand side, and this one as well. So you could see them reasonably easily, although one of them was actually hidden behind some other road signage until you got close to it. And this sign were actually placed on the right-hand side of the road. So you had to look across to your right to see it, and that so they weren't particularly visible. No intersections had doubling or tripling up of signage. Now, if we look at this from a cost versus quality perspective, yeah, I mean, obviously we want to be here at the quality cost sweet spot. And when I was talking about the Austroads Guides, clearly, I think what Austroads gives us is a minimum quality standard that we should be aiming for these detours, because it's all about safety. If you have a good detour is a safe detour. A detour that's easy to follow is a safe detour. It keep on coming back to safety. If you're stumbling around trying to work out where you're going, stopping and starting and making last-minute right-hand turns across the road, etc., that's where you increase the risk of having a collision with other road users like drivers, and that's exactly what you don't want. A poor quality detour leads to crashes. So if we think about this, where are we for the Warwick stuff? Well, I think the quality is pretty low. Now, maybe the cost is also very low. Maybe Main Roads, cheaped out on this particular tender, and we've got a Temu tender essentially. Okay, that's a management decision to undercut the quality of the work and come out with something which is low cost. I think that's something Main Roads management needs to look at, is why come out with something like this where there's zero signage in that direction and only 5 signs in this direction. And if you look, north to south, if you look south of this line here, there's just no signage along this particular section of the route. And, this is a reasonably complicated little thing to get through. I mean, it's surprising when you're actually on the ground. I mean, on the map, you probably think, oh, it's a piece of cake. No, it's not. Now, the other option, of course, is, we look at this. Maybe this is the quality we're getting, and maybe that's what Main Roads is actually paying. And why would that be so? Well, I think that may be because what site inspections, well, okay, let's go back to the beginning. What was actually tendered for? Did they tender for a reasonable quality detour setup, and a traffic management plan was submitted? Okay, 2 options here with the traffic management plan. One was submitted that was high quality with lots and lots of signage like this. It's like, great, we're paying for this, and yet we're getting this. Okay, what's going wrong here? Why is no one going out and inspecting the route to make sure that all of the signage that we paid for is actually on the ground all the time, that it hasn't been blown over, it hasn't been vandalized, it hasn't been stolen, it hasn't been taken off to another project. It's actually there because that's what we're paying for. Or, maybe this is what the traffic management plan looked like, and so that's what we're getting. Again, that's a management question of, why would you approve a traffic management plan like that? So moving forward a little bit more, I guess, okay, this is what we're paying for. Who's going out and actually checking that this is what's being delivered? So, with something like the delivery of physical hardware, say, 1,000 bricks need to be laid, you can go out at the end of the project before you sign off the invoice and count the number of bricks and say, yep, there's 1,000 bricks there, they've all been laid correctly, I'm paying the invoice to you. But for something like this, which is a service, how do you ensure that the service is actually delivered? Well, you've got to go out and actually have a look and check for yourself, because at the end, all the signage is going to be taken away. The invoice is going to turn up, and it's like, well, how do we prove this was ever in place? So, to me, the way you do that is someone from Main Roads, someone in the management hierarchy, whether it's the project manager or whoever, goes out there with a video camera and goes through the route in one direction and comes back in the other direction and videos all the signage or photographs it all or whatever, documents it and says, yep, I'm happy with that. We're getting what we paid for. And then you repeat that on a regular basis. So if this is going to be here for 12 months, you'd say, well, how often do I need to go out there? Is it once a month, once a fortnight, once a week? Or do I write into the contract that the contractor needs to get a video which shows time and date stamps on it, and they need to go through the site and upload that timestamped video on, say, a weekly basis to wherever, and we can sit in the office and review it and be sure that the signage that we've asked for is actually in place. Or a main road's getting or regular site audit sheets from the contractors where there's a checklist, and the checklist includes 19 signs going in this direction and what they are, and so and so has gone, either driven through, walked through, cycled through, scooted through, whatever, even flown a drone through. And you could use drones for this kind of thing. They sent a drone through and they have checked, yes, this sign is in place and it's upright. This sign is in place. And they've gone through and checked off the spreadsheet to say everything is in place, and we're certifying that. And as a result of that certification, we want the invoice paid. Is there anything like that in place? So when we come back to this, when these invoices are paid on a regular basis, are we sure that this amount of money we're paying is delivering this amount of quality? Because if we're paying this amount of money and getting this amount of quality, you've got a serious management issue. That's broken systems. That's internal audit not doing their job. That's a lack of management oversight. That's taxpayers' money not being well spent. So, and an issue I think we've got here is I've gone out and reviewed a number of projects in the last couple of months, and what we're seeing is systemic issues like this. So, like I said at the beginning, Borloo Bridge project like this. In fact, I would say, they were over here somewhere in terms of quality, or even up here. Like the quality of the detour there was really, really good. We look at Fremantle at the moment. Fremantle's down here somewhere. I don't know where they are on the cost curve. Maybe it's very cheap, maybe it's very expensive, I don't know, but Freo quality is terrible. And as we're seeing with this Warwick site, which has been up and running apparently for a long time, quality on that's low. Something is going wrong in main roads when it comes to getting this right. Why can you get the Borloo Bridge project right and deliver something that looks like this, which was just fantastic? Obviously the tender worked, all the prep work was good. The old 5Ps, prior preparation prevents poor performance, all that kind of thing. The planning, the consultation, the the write up of the traffic management plan, the input that went into that. Getting all the right signage down, checking it was in place all the time. Everything worked for this project. And then we'll look at Warwick and we go, and then we get this. So how does the same organisation deliver such incredibly different results? Look, in the end, what we're after, main roads, is something like this in both directions, and to do this for all these projects. So, what it's costing you and all the rest of it, I mean, that's an internal issue you guys need to sort out, whether you're being paying too much, or are you paying for services that are not being delivered? Do you know about that? Are you knowingly paying for stuff that's not being delivered, or are you just completely clueless? But anyway, please, whatever you need to sort out, so detours start to look like this.